Morning, everybody. It's Tuesday. Sorry, there's no garage devotional today. There's going to be a car devotional today. So, and this may become a little bit more frequent now that the kids hopefully are going back to school in a couple of weeks. My mornings will become a little busier, so this may be the best time for me to do this. So I hope you guys enjoy it still. Please continue to watch, share, like, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Obviously, the more that you do that, the more people get to see this, and hopefully everyone's enjoying it. And I'm going to keep doing them, whether you're enjoying them or not. I'm going to keep doing them. So today, we're going to look at how we react to situations, I think, is probably the best way to talk about it. But, so have you ever been in a situation where you're caught doing something you're not supposed to? You're literally caught with your hand in the candy jar. You're as guilty as you can be. Everybody knows it. And instead of admitting that guilt and asking for grace or forgiveness, I think our human nature sometimes is to blame the other person. So to say, oh, well, if I had a better job, I wouldn't have to steal this. Or if my boss was nicer, I wouldn't have to lie about taking a day off. Or, if my spouse did this or that, I wouldn't have to cheat. Or something like that. When we do that, though, we're not blaming that person. I mean, I know it sounds like we are, and I guess kind of we are, but what we're really doing is blaming God, which I don't think any of us in those situations would really do. So, and you're probably like, Jason, how do you figure? And this is how it kind of goes. So, God is everywhere. He is always present in every situation. He is everywhere all the time. And He is sovereign, so that means He has dominion over every person, situation, action, etc. So He is always there, and He is always sovereign over everything. So when you blame that other person, you're not actually blaming them. Ultimately, you're blaming God. What you're saying is that, God, if you had given me more of whatever, if you had put someone else in my life, if you had done this or that, I wouldn't be doing this. So you're not blaming your wife, your husband, your boss, whatever. You're blaming God. And I don't think we realize that. And I think it's kind of hard to understand. So when we blame God, what we're saying is your grace isn't enough. It's not my fault, it's your fault. Kind of sounds familiar. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of these two people called Adam and Eve. So, of course, Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, and Satan tricked Eve into eating the apple off of the tree that they weren't supposed to eat. And then Eve took it to Adam and gave it to Adam, and Adam ate the fruit as well. So, and then God comes along, and of course, the whole situation, God confronts them. What do you mean? Who told you you were naked? And they're like, oh, we ate of this tree. And God says, Adam, why did you do that? And Adam says, the woman gave it to me. The woman you gave me told me to eat it. And then Eve says, Satan made me do it. It's not my fault. It's Satan's fault. When God had clearly given them everything they needed, they had all dominion over everything in that garden except for that one tree. And then Adam, of course, blames God for giving him woman, or Eve, which, of course, is completely incorrect. So if you take a look at Luke chapter 6, verses 43 through 45, for no good tree bears bad fruit, nor again does a bad tree bear good fruit. For each tree is known by its own fruit. For figs are not gathered from thorn bushes, nor are grapes picked from a bramble bush. The good person out of the good treasure of his heart produces good, and the evil person out of his evil treasure produces evil. For out of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaks. So I think it's often that our problems, our issues, the things wrong with us, it's not caused by the things around us, but it's caused by what's inside of us. Ultimately, everything that you do wrong is your fault. There's no other way around it. And the quote from my devotional this morning that struck me the most is actually the very top of the page. And it says, "You disobey not because you lack the God-given grace to obey, but because you love something more than God, more than the God who's given you that grace." Which is pretty profound. It's pretty tough to kind of wrap your mind around. It's like, well, no, of course not. I love God more than I love anything. But when you do these things, for that moment, in that time, you clearly don't love God more. You love that thing just a little bit more, and just enough to do something you know you're not supposed to. So as we go forth today, understand that God is sovereign. God has given us the grace to defeat these things. And in those moments where we try to say it's not my fault, understand that it is, and that should stop you from sinning and doing those things you're not supposed to. But if you fail, and let's be honest, we all do, that grace is still there, and it's still enough to forgive you. God just needs you to repent, turn to Him. He's already paid the price. So, guys, go forward today. Spread a little grace. Love on somebody. Thanks for listening, watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.